Welcome back. Now, if you've watched my comparison between the Alu-Cab Ease-On 270 and the Bushwakka Extreme 270 degree awnings, you'll know that I had some good and bad things to say about both. Well, today we're going to be looking at this brand new Bushwakka TrueBlue Australian made awning, and after this I'm going to tell you what I think. Well, in order to get the Bushwakka TrueBlue on, the first thing we've got to do is take the Alu-Cab off. Once we get the Alu-Cab off the Land Cruiser, we can lay them side by side and see that both are exactly the same length when they're packed up in the bags. But the length of the awnings is about where the similarities end. The Bushwakka TrueBlue has a very nice mounting system similar to the Bushwakka Extreme, where you have full adjustability over the mounting position. The Alu-Cab, on the other hand, has a bolt-on system whereby you have to get your measurements exactly right before you put it up on the car, and you actually have to drill holes through the bag in order to get the mounting brackets to attach to the back of the awning. There is Super Peg branding all over this gear, from the outside of the box to the poles, the awning walls, even the pegs that come with this gear are all Super Peg pegs. It's reassuring to see that such a reputable company in Australia such as Super Peg has been such a big part of the manufacturing process of this awning. And because I have the optional Rhino platform mounting brackets, this even comes with the T-nuts needed to mount that to the roof rack rails. It also comes with all of the required spring washers, nuts and bolts, everything in stainless and Nylox. It's a very nice setup. These Rhino platform roof rack brackets are $65 each, and they are super heavy duty. They really do look the part. They are also Australian made. Mounting the Bushwakka Extreme onto the Rhino rack was a piece of cake. We just put the brackets up onto the rack where we thought they should fit, and then we went ahead and measured those distances along on the back of the awning itself. We just left them loose so we were able to move the awning backwards and forwards once we got it up onto the car. The brackets and the mounting system were so easy to use, it only took us about 40 minutes to mount this awning up onto the roof rack with 2 people. Okay, so the TrueBlue is up and it's fitted. Everything is as it should be. I've gone ahead and fitted the extra poles that Johnny gave me here, and there are 3 additional poles that you can put on, making a total of 4, and that is so that you can use the optional sides for the awning, which I also have supplied. If you don't have the legs down with the sides on, I'm assuming there would be a little bit too much weight for the awning to freestand, which was the same with the Alu-Cab 270 Ease-On. The canvas material seems quite decent. Looks like Australian ripstop canvas, I'm guessing. It also has zips for the walls rather than having Velcro, which is super important because the Velcro walls on the Alu-Cab make it a real waste of time trying to use the walls in any sort of wind. Unfortunately, Super Peg and Bushwakka have decided to use Velcro straps to hold the awning in place when it's stowed. It was one of the criticisms I actually had for the Alu-Cab, and one of the things I liked about the cheaper Chinese Bushwakka Extreme in that it had buckles and not Velcro. But these are better than the Alu-Cab bits of Velcro. They're at least twice as wide, and they actually don't get caught up behind the awning when you're packing it away, making it much easier for it to pack away, and the width makes it stronger and probably make them last longer as well. It's also got a 4th one up here just for holding the end in instead of just having the 3 like the Alu-Cab. Certainly doesn't feel as strong as the Alu-Cab, and these are obviously a very different design. This is just normal aluminium. This is also a thinner stainless material here than what is used on the Alu-Cab, and it's also smaller.
This is thinner as well, but this is backed up by having those slotted sections on the back, so this is still a lot stronger than the Bushwakka Extreme. Probably not quite as strong as the Alu-Cab, but I don't think it needs to be. There are sort of rough bits around here where they've left markings and there's scratches and stuff around, a few burrs and bits and pieces, but to be honest, the Alu-Cab had the same sort of, well, not quite like that, but it still had burrs and things on it as well. What I don't like about this at all, I think is really rubbish, is even though it's using these really good super peg poles, and the extra ones are really easy to install, by the way, just straightforward. Look how the poles attach, Velcro, okay? See that as the pole weighs down, it actually pulls the Velcro away that holds the awning on. I mean, why they didn't just wrap the Velcro around the pole, or have a slotted system the same as what the Alu-Cab has. Actually, that's quite, ow, that's quite rough along there too. It's not smooth. So that's really quite annoying. But what is good is that these feet are actually bigger, and the holes are bigger than what was on the Alu-Cab, which means that when you want to put a decent sized peg in there, or a screw type peg through there, a coach screw type, that's going to work a lot better than the Alu-Cab did, so I do like that. Of course, one of the biggest criticisms that I had about the Alu-Cab was the size, or the geometry of it, and as you can see, we actually have an additional pole and an additional arm on the Bushwakka. So we've got one over there, we've got another one just here, and then we have another two over here. You can see how low this hangs down. It's really annoying. I'll have to do something about that. Should be an easy fix. What's interesting though is on this side, on the side of the car, you actually seem to get a lot less coverage than the Alu-Cab as it cuts across. But what you do get is a much bigger area on the back corner here, and you get more space at the back, because my biggest hate on the Alu-Cab was that it didn't cover my table, and this kind of pretty much does. If I can sort of get back here, slightest bit where it doesn't, but having the zip-on wall means that that won't be a problem at all. Now, of course, the other criticism that I had on the Alu-Cab was that it had that little stand, if you remember, that used to go up here to drain the water off, but it didn't drain the water off, it still pooled. Whereas we have tabs that we can tie ropes to pull down. There we go. There's one on each section, I think, and that will be more work than sticking up that little leg in the middle, but it'll certainly be more effective at stopping the pooling than that little leg was. Also, because of the nature of the way this frame is designed, there's kind of a more natural fall going on here than there would be on the Alu-Cab as well. So it will be very interesting to see how this goes in the rain. But we've also got tie downs on each corner as well, so there's plenty of places you can tie this down. You can put 2 pegs in each of the 4 legs. If you've got the extra legs, you can put a tie down on each corner and a tie down in each section. So really you could strap this thing down for a cyclone if you wanted to. You can see how this has a lot more play in it than the Alu-Cab had, but in its defence, this also I think might be slightly longer, I'm not sure. Actually, one of the other things that's better about this is the fact that these all sit together. On the Alu-Cab, one actually sits different to the others, and that means that rolling it up is actually a little bit more challenging. It's way easier to roll up, which means it's easier to get into a nice, neat roll. Actually, I do like these thicker Velcro tabs. These are actually pretty good. They might even be better than the buckles on the original Bushwakka Extreme. Although, now I've said that, they don't jam up. Where's it gone? They can jam up. It's not a big deal, it just means you've got to make sure you pull these out before you fold it all the way up. So remember, this is the first time I've done it. Alright, a really nice big bag. That's really good to see. Actually, the bag is even bigger than the Alu-Cab, to be honest, quite substantially height-wise bigger, but it is easier to put in. And I'm actually concerned that the Alu-Cab is going to wear through because it's so tight in there when it's packed away. That's a bit looser. I don't know if it's going to flap around on the highway or whether it's going to cause any problems like that, but I do actually really like it. Alright, well, the Bushwakka TrueBlue 270-degree awning, Australian made. Looks like a combination of Super Peg and Bushwakka working together. Some really good ideas. Much better than the Bushwakka Extreme, as you would expect, for more than twice the price. Some great add-ons, some great quality inclusions. The pegs, the ropes, the bag, everything that comes with this is actually really good. I really like it. It just doesn't have that same solid feel that the Alu-Cab has, and I think part of that is because it's bigger. Well, it feels bigger anyway. It covers the area that I want to cover better. It's easier to pack away. It's got more tie down points. The brackets are way cheaper. Instead of $250, $350 for a set of brackets, you've got brackets that are so easy to put on and are only around $60. Okay, so let's have a look at what we get here. With the Alu-Cab, we're paying recommended retail $2,100 Australian, and you can pick them up for around about $2,000, maybe even $1,900 on special on occasion. Now, it's $99 for 2 additional poles with the Alu-Cab if you want to put sidewalls on. The sidewalls are velcroed on, and the velcro is rubbish. It doesn't hold up in the wind whatsoever, and the walls are thousands of dollars, so you're probably not going to use genuine ones anyway. I certainly didn't. I used the King's ones. They were $80 for 2. Now, with the Bushwakka, I've got the prices here from Johnny at Bushwakka. Bushwakka TrueBlue, I think, was around $1,800. These T-style brackets, which I have 3 of, are $65 each. Now, they are really heavy duty. Not as heavy duty as the Alu-Cab ones, I must admit, but I think having 3 of them rather than 2, I can't see that that's going to be the part that lets anything down, if anything is going to be let down. The extra legs are $25 a leg, and you can have up to 3 additional legs, making a total of 4. The Alu-Cab has 1 standard leg and has the option of having 2 more $99. The extra walls for this are $175 each. Very reasonable. They are sloped, they zip on, and they are designed to fit any span of the awning, so you can mix and match them depending on where the sun or the weather is, which I think is actually a really good idea. Now, the brackets on the Alu-Cab are somewhere, depending on your roof rack, between $200 and $350, so the $65 each for those brackets is definitely a much better deal. The canvas and the bag are all ripstop on this Bushwakka. The Alu-Cab, the canvas is their special reflective compound type canvas. I did get a hole in that, if you remember, very easily by rubbing through on one of the poles. I would hope that this wouldn't be the same, but it's definitely thicker, which is probably why it weighs more, that, and it's got the extra span. But the Bushwakka canvas does look very, very good, and the bag is just as heavy duty as the Alu-Cab bag, but it's bigger and looser, so it's not under strain when it's packed away. So that may be beneficial in the long run. We have to remember that mounting these up, it took a friend of mine and myself about half an hour, 40 minutes to mount this up from scratch. It took me nearly 2 days by myself to mount up the Alu-Cab. It was a pain in the neck having to measure where we were going to put it, drill holes in the bag, make up my own brackets, try and get them to fit somehow, drill holes in the roof rack. These Pioneer platform brackets that were supplied by Bushwakka for me just made life so much easier, and the fact that it's adjustable on the back of the awning with those slotted mounting points just made it an absolute pleasure to mount up in comparison to the Alu-Cab. So does the Bushwakka TrueBlue solve all of the problems that I had between the Alu-Cab and the Bushwakka Extreme? Because I wasn't happy with either of those. Mostly. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's very close. Those leg supports are stupid. That's just so dumb. So I'm going to fix that myself by either pop riveting in my own Velcro around the actual arms. I might even look at putting some slotted brackets in, like what the Alu-Cab has, so that I can actually just jam those legs in. The only thing that might stop me from being able to do that is that the legs actually lock in from the leg section, the lower leg section on the Bushwakka, rather than from the top. So as I lock it in, the feet don't necessarily line up in the right orientation. So maybe it might just be simpler to put some Velcro and a pop rivet on the actual arm rather than having it attached to the canvas material and pulling the second bit of Velcro down every time the leg wobbles around. So there's the legs. The strength, I'm not 100% sold on just yet. There's just that bit of play and movement that I've just got a bit of PTSD from the last one. So, I mean, it looks a lot stronger. I think it's going to be okay, but I just have to wait and see with that. The coverage, a bit disappointing. I've lost some on this side of the car, but at the same time, I've got it where I really need it. So I think this is a way better setup. Having to tie the sides down instead of having the little leg to make the rain run off the awning, it's what I wanted. Yes, it's a pain, but I think it's less of a pain than having a system that just doesn't work like it was with the Alu-Cab. And most of the time when it's raining around here anyway, it's windy, and if it's really windy, having an extra rope tying it down is probably not going to be a bad thing anyway. So I do think that solves that problem. The other thing that I really didn't like about the Alu-Cab was those Velcro straps when I was putting it away, and this has got Velcro straps to put it away, but they do seem better and easier to use, but it's not perfect. The buckles were what I was after, but I think these will be fine. I don't think that's a deal breaker for anyone. It was just a nice thing that the Extreme had that this one doesn't. And potentially, I guess, there's less chance of the Velcro wearing and rubbing through on the canvas when you're on corrugation, so maybe that's why they've done it that way. The bigger bag on the Bushwakka, I don't think that that's a problem. I don't think that's going to cause any dramas. It certainly makes it easier to pack away, and it is giving me less stress about it rubbing through, so hey, I think we'll just make that a positive, not a negative. So all in all, I've got the Bushwakka TrueBlue on the Land Cruiser. I'm going to keep it on there for a little while, and we're going to take it on a few trips and see if there's anything that makes me really desperately want to put the Alu-Cab back on. But at this point, I just don't see that happening. That coverage over that back table was so important for me, and this seems to only just get there, but it does. And the zips instead of the Velcro for the walls is really a deal maker for me as far as keeping this awning over the Alu-Cab. As long as the strength is there, as long as none of the other little things bug me too much, I really can't see me going back to the Alu-Cab at this point. And it will be really interesting to see how this goes over the long term. I'll be sure to update you if we have any problems, or if I do some modifications to the way those legs are stowed, I'll put that up as well. Check me out on Instagram, and I'll be putting photos up there as well. You always see the stuff on Instagram way before you see it on YouTube, because obviously YouTube takes a lot more preparation and time to get ready, and Instagram we generally do while we're out and about. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope you watched the other two videos that I've done on the 270-degree awnings, and I hope this one has helped you decide which awning you're going to buy, because it's a lot of money to buy any of these awnings, even the cheap ones. You want to make sure you're getting the right deal. There are plenty of other options out there too. You're not just limited to the Bushwackers or the Alu-Cabs. There are a lot of other awnings out there, and if you read the comments in some of my other videos, there have been some really good suggestions and recommendations there as well. If you've got any recommendations or suggestions or questions, please post them in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.